Okay, continuing on with chapter 5. This is number 4. Describe the origins and development of education, culture, and the learned professions in the colonies. Okay, strong education in New England, especially for boys, but everybody was to learn to read and write, so that was very important up there. Not so in the other colonies. So they had public education in New England. Traditional doctrine and orthodox studies, especially in New England, not looking for creativity or questioning thought, just learning, being able to read the Bible. Most college level training was to maintain and train the clergy in New England. Harvard, Princeton, Brown, all of those colleges, that's what they were for. Then go farther down, the University of Pennsylvania, the first college free from control of the church. Very typical of Pennsylvania, very typical of Ben Franklin. Art, something I know just enough to be dangerous about. Still European. Americans were not, they didn't have time for art. They're hacking their way through the forest and fighting off Indians. They didn't have time for that. Here are some famous names, though, that if you want to study it, you will see everywhere in this time period. Print literature, also no time for writing books. We got all of this stuff from Europe. Colonists needed practical stuff. Poor Richard's Almanac. Look this up online. Early to bed, early to rise makes a young man happy, healthy, and wise. This is a landmark trial, the Zenger trial, John Peter Zenger. He was charged with libel because he criticized the governor of New York, and he was found not guilty since it was based on fact. So look this up for more information, but this is a famous one that kind of set the precedent for freedom of the press. And the basic features of colonial life, including the role of various official and informal political institutions. All colonies had a similar legislative body. The governors were appointed by the crown but paid for by colonial legislators. So there's going to be a problem with that. They could kind of hold them hostage with their pay, vote their pay up and down anytime. There's a time of salutary neglect, as I talked about in the last chapter, and so eventually this is going to, the crown's going to reassert its control. The governors are going to be kind of in the middle. Only men who owned land could vote. New England colonies had church membership as a requirement. The founders of the Constitution would stop the church requirement in the First Amendment, but the land requirement was around for a long time. So that comes in Chapter 9. And that is it for Chapter 5.